Oh, 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 I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. All over the world, there are different preferences when it comes to beauty and what the beauty standard is. And to that whole beauty area also applies, obviously, makeup. Very fascinating, very interesting, and something that I'm keen to try as well. I actually never expected this to happen, but I received some lovely makeup products from a brand called Judydoll, and they are a Chinese makeup brand. So I was very excited, and I've always wanted to do like a more Asian beauty style of makeup. So I'm gonna be trying them out together. I've been testing these products for like the last week or so since I got them. If you would like to try some Judydoll makeup, they have kindly given me a code as well to get 15% off your order. I find myself gagging when I'm saying this, gagging in a good way, by the way, because I just never expected to have like a code of my own and to be able to say these things. But if you want to try them and you want to save some money, because it's obviously economic crisis right now in a lot of places, they have given me a code for you to have 15% off your order, which is PECU from PECU. The first product I want to talk about is the Judydoll Depuffing Roller Primer. I have no skincare on my face right now. I want to say on almost all of these products, especially the face products, there is like a manufacturing date and then an expiry date. And the expiry date is so amazing because I usually forget when I actually bought products, or I'm like, oh, that's a relatively new product, and then it's been 4 years since I actually bought it. So the fact that there's a date on here is just so helpful, and I really appreciate like that little detail. It's meant to mimic like gua sha. I'm so sorry if I butcher that. I actually should have probably looked it up. I know how we say it in Dutch, but I don't necessarily know how you say it in English. It has these little roller balls, which again, I found very fascinating. And when I apply it, it's a very like self-care moment. It just feels very relaxing to apply. Roll them on. And it feels a bit cool. But when it comes to like a makeup primer, it's a really nice hydrating and soothing formula. By the way, if you're wondering if this has a scent, it does have a scent, like a chocolate coffee. I know that's weird to say, but it's like a chocolate coffee kind of scent. The Depuffing Roller Primer. Really cool. And what I really like right now on my skin, and what I've noticed throughout like the week as well that I've been testing these products, is that this primer has a very slight tackiness, which really helps with like any kind of foundation or whatever you apply on top to really make sure that it like grips to it and it has a lot of like longevity. While I'm letting the primer soak in, I want to continue with eyes, and this is something that I'm really excited for. So this is the Judydoll Play Color All-in-One Eyeshadow Palette. So I was actually able to choose the palette that I wanted to use, and I was looking at the different type of color stories that they had, and this one, Electric Jellyfish, just kind of like caught my eye because it's somewhere in between that like lavender cool tone color story with a bunch of really cool shimmers. So it also has a highlight and a blush right here. You can also use those as like eyeshadows if you want. So it's like a multi-functional palette. Browsing to Pinterest in preparation of this video, what is like the makeup preference when it comes to like Asia, and obviously Asia is very big. But then I took a look on the actual Judydoll website and like the makeup photo that they had with this palette, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do that because that looks absolutely stunning. So I did apply a little bit of their concealer as like eyeshadow primer on my eyelids, but more about the concealer later. So I'm gonna take this beautiful palette, in my opinion. When it comes to eyeshadow, I'm always so excited to try new eyeshadow palettes, and especially lately I feel like I've been away from the eyeshadow palette game for a while, but then sometimes things like this just they catch my eye. This palette apparently also has like a few different textures, glass pearl shimmers, really sparkly, intense ones. Then they have more of a satin, which I think is like the silver, and this very deep, almost blackish silky mattes, which are like these two, I think, the blush and highlight, which are really soft and like almost velvety to the touch. I'm gonna stop talking and just show you. I'm gonna start with the matte. So I'm actually first going to take this blush shade right here. One thing that I want to say about these eyeshadows, and especially the mattes, you know, I did try these. It's a little bit easier to work with because you're not as prone to make mistakes more quickly, while these are very soft and velvety and buildable. So if you're a beginner, I think you might actually really like this formula because, like I said, buildable, soft, beginner friendly. So what I'm doing is just like putting a general wash of that blushy shade all over my eye crease, and then later we're gonna really sculpt the look. Now with a slightly denser brush, I'm going to pick up this blacky brown shade, and I'm going to apply that on the outer V area. Also this one, it's a black shade, but it's very soft, but not patchy, which is surprising to me because blacks can be a little bit difficult to apply sometimes because they tend to be a little bit patchy or like not severely pigmented. I'm gonna take a blending brush and just kind of blend that out. I'm definitely concentrating a lot of products on my lash line because I feel like they really play with lashes and eye sculpture. So that is also what I'm gonna be doing today. So now we're gonna go on to the really fun part, which is the shimmers. So I'm gonna apply this shade right here, which I think is number 2. Number 2, main color number 2. I'm going to apply that everywhere on the eyelid. God damn. That looks so pretty. It's like a very light lavender champagne. Gorgeous. Oh, that is so pretty. Very pretty. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. I just want to apply this everywhere. That is so pretty. Oh, that is, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna take my brush and just kind of lightly blend out these edges. Next up, I think I'm gonna take this shimmer, this like silvery color, and I'm gonna put that in the middle of my eyeball. It's like an eye catcher. Oh, this is a little bit more opaque than the other one. Oh, but pretty. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. I'm quickly going to take a little bit of a blender brush and just blend out these edges. Then with a tinier brush, I'm going to take this shimmering, which is this one right here. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's also, I think, one of those shimmer pearl. They're really in the inner corner right here. There's a lot of sunshine right now, so I don't know if you'll be able to see this really well. I think that's better because the sun was really going crazy. Oh, and once like the eyeliner and stuff is on, it's gonna be crazy. So that's it for the palette right now. I'm going to come back to this palette in a later stage in this video, but you can tell I really love, oh my god, wait till you see the tip of this. So for eyeliner, I feel like this is definitely a necessity when it comes to like eye makeup in Asian beauty brands. Eyeliner is definitely a huge part of that to really accentuate and sculpt the eyes again. This is the Judydoll Ultra Fine Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Black. And look at how fine. I don't know if you'll be able to see. This is such a fine tip. I actually have been wearing this eyeliner to work for the past week just to test it out because I was a little bit too curious. I couldn't wait till this video. I also didn't want to give you like first impressions because first impressions are nothing. I've been testing it out. It is so good. Because it's very thin, it is extremely easy to apply and it's extremely easy to avoid making mistakes. So I'm gonna apply this eyeliner as I normally would. Look how fine that line is. That is insane. And then I'm just gonna fill it in. I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker, and because it's so precise, it's so easy to do. Look, that is a sharp as fuck wing. You can just really draw it on the way that you prefer it. And like I said, I've been wearing it to work and it's actually also quite long wearing. So this is a favorite of mine immediately. This is amazing. Not kidding. This is really good. Before we move on to the rest of the face, I do want to apply a little bit of mascara because I feel like that really finishes off at least the top part of my eye look. So this is the Judydoll Feather Lash Iron Mascara in the shade 01 Black. It has a serum to nourish and like strengthen the lashes, and then at the same time also a primer and a top coat, which is interesting to me. So it's almost kind of like a toothbrush, and because of it, it really reminded me of those like vintage mascaras, if you know what I mean. So first I start at the base of my lash line, which is very easy to do because it's a very thin brush, and I think if you have like smaller eyes like I do, sometimes mascara ones are just a little bit too big and you get like these clumps or mascara smudges on your eyelid because the brush is just too big. And then I use the comb and give my lashes a little bit of a lift. You can see the difference. This is a really nice mascara for it. And also it's just very interesting, so I do find it fun to use. Oh, and wait till you see this on the lower lashes. This for me is a perfect mascara for lower lashes. This is the Judydoll Dual Fermented Tea Cushion Foundation. So I know that cushion foundations are apparently very popular in Asia. I feel like they have really made their way into the European and American beauty market as well. So I really love this baby blue color, by the way. Which, by the way, almost smells like skincare, which is very interesting to me. So I'm not always... Yeah, damn. That's a lot of pigmentation. So let's just try it out for the sake of this video, but if I don't like it, I am going to go back to my brush. It is applying an insane amount of coverage, by the way. I don't like the puff, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go back in with my buffing foundation brush. So I wanted to say this has a medium amount of coverage, but obviously if you use the puff, this has an insane amount of coverage. So if you think like, oh, cushion foundation's nice, but like the coverage is not necessarily what I'm looking for. Obviously, it can be very, very high coverage. So I am going to sheer it out a little bit. This is just like my preference. It is a little bit more on the velvety matte side. I would say that the actual texture is like more of a satin matte. So if you combine this with like hydration, then it's a really nice cushion foundation. And I actually have been wearing it to work and I really like the way that it looks on my skin. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's also really like blurring. So obviously it covered up my redness completely. If you have more of a dry skin type and you're kind of afraid of like velvety and satin matte formulas and finishes in like cushion foundations or foundations in general, just combine it with really good skin prep, very hydrating skin prep. Make sure that those layers aren't too heavy. So for me, this cushion foundation is really nice. I really want to continue using it because it's very lightweight on the skin. It doesn't feel tight, you know, dry on my skin. I can still move my face without any uncomfortable feeling. Then I'm gonna move on to concealer. This is the concealer from Judydoll. So this is their Skin Melt Multi-Use Concealer and I have the shade CO2 Light Beige or Skin Beige or Vanilla, one of those shades. I have to say, when it comes to the brush, I really like the smallness of the actual wand of the concealer and like the teardrop triangle shape. It's really easy to get like into this nook right here. And then I'm gonna take my brush and I'm just gonna blend it out. As you can see, it blends out really easily, very nicely, very quickly. Thinness and like lightweightness is something that returns in like their in like their skin complexion products. And it does a great job of like covering any kind of darkness that I have underneath my eyes and really creating an even and slightly brightened canvas underneath my eyes. So there we go, slightly brightened, covered up underneath the eyes and ready for the next step, which is blush. Oh boy, blush is one of my favorite steps in makeup. I love it so much. One of the categories that I always look at is blush because I am blush obsessed. I have way too many blushes and I feel like there's something about Asian beauty brands and the way that they translate blush into packaging and formulas and textures that is so interesting to me, so innovative to me. And I feel like they have a lot of really nice and interesting colors that are not necessarily the most easy and accessible to find here in Europe. So I'm very excited about this. So this is the liquid blush serum. The packaging very aesthetic, obviously, and I have the shade 01 Fig. It's a very light milky peachy pink. So I think for today I'm going to apply a little bit of this blush right here. Oh, that looks cute. I actually want to keep it like that. I don't know if I can. And then I'm also just going to use my brush and we're going to blend it out and really go up into the lower eye area. I don't know how well this translates on camera as well, but it's very beautiful as well. It's just like a little bit of like a, it's peeking through. So these are their Glow Blush Swirls, and these are like a blush and a highlighter in one, which is so interesting. And I have the shade 02 Dewy Rose and 03 Cherry Glaze. Look at that. That's Cherry Glaze. I really want a shade like this in my collection because I think it's truly stunning. And like red blushes are very underrated. And then this one is Dewy Rose. Ooh, I love blush. I think for today I am going to use Dewy Rose for like that transition blush, and in a different video I'm going to use Cherry Glaze. Dewy Rose right here on the very tops of my cheekbones, and I'm gonna blend it out and fade it into that lighter color that we had. I was a little bit nervous about the color payoff, but I can definitely use a little bit more. So that's nice. It's definitely buildable. Oh, that is absolutely stunning. Oh my god, I love it. That blended out so easily. I'm actually so impressed by that because I was a little bit scared. I'm always a little bit scared when it comes to like liquid blush like this with like a doe foot applicator, because I always think about the Rare Beauty ones and those are like so insanely pigmented. Okay, then I'm gonna set my face a little bit. This is the Judydoll Velvety Matte Longwear Powder, and I have the shade 03 Translucent. I'm gonna use this powder to kind of set my face a little bit. And this is the translucent shade. They also had like a pink and a lavender, but I was a little bit too scared. So I've been testing it. It's a very finely milled formula that doesn't feel grainy in the slightest. And it controls the shine without drying my skin too much and making it look cakey and stuff like that. Moving on to the actual mirror that you saw me using. This is the Judydoll 2-in-1 highlighter and contour palette. And I have the shade 05 Moonlight Glow, I believe, or something like, oh, Feather Glow. Feather Glow? Glow Feather? Something like that. I really like the packaging as well. It's very beautiful and pretty. So yeah, I have the shade 05, which I really like because the contour shade in here is still quite cool tone and neutral. But the other shades are a little bit more on the warm tone side, which is, I think, great for me because what the hell? Sun comes blasting out. Now, obviously, with the sunshine that is like blaring in here, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. I'm also going to use the Judydoll dual-ended makeup brush for this because it's a really nice multifunctional brush again. And I personally like to contour it right from my ear to my mouth, so following that line. And then I also really like to contour my nose like this. The formula of the mattes is almost like a velvet. It is very soft to the touch. Contour, everything is about like very softly and subtly sculpting the face. So if you use something that is too pigmented, you're gonna be able to see that really quickly. And these powders, because they are a little bit more on the sheer side, they mimic a shadow really, really nicely and very subtly. So you can see sharp as a knife, but it's not a stripe of color. I'm gonna use that highlighty shade, and I think what I mainly want to do is use this as a little bit of like a brightening powder underneath my eyes, because a satin is also like a little bit less drying. And then I'm gonna use the big brightening powder. I'm kind of doing the same to also like brighten the under eye area. Definitely worked. So contour palette is also definitely one of my favorites. It's just very easy to build up the pigmentation, the shade, and to in a way to really brighten. Hello. Then I am going to use a little bit of a fixing spray. This is the Judydoll Setting Mist Dewy. I love a dewy setting spray, and also I have already tried this obviously because I was very curious, but this has an extremely fine mist. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And it smells a little bit like roses. So it is scented, but it smells like roses in a very pleasant way. So it's also very refreshing on the face when you like spritz it because it is quite a fine mist. I'm just going to protect my microphone. Moving on to the lip products, which I feel like it is again a category that you think of when you think of like Asian beauty makeup. The lips are always a little bit like blurred and like velvety, but at the same time very high shine, very plump lips. Did receive the Judydoll lip pencils, the soft matte lip pencils, and I have the shade CO1 and WO2. WO2 is like a light mauvey, sorry, not mauve, but a light brown color. I don't know if you can see that. And then CO1 is like a beautiful pinky, cool tone pink color. These remind me a lot of the Rhode Peptide lip shapers. And as you will be able to see, they are almost untraceable, but they plump the lips so well. But it made my lips bigger. And then you like blend it out. and it has some staying powder, but because it dries down a little bit, it stays in place and it creates this very, very natural shadow to the lips. I really like these soft matte lip pencils, and I think, you know, W02 is definitely my preference when it comes to the color. And then finally, I have these bad boys, and these are the Judydoll PRNDN lipsticks. I have the shade 103 and 105. So this is 103 and this one is 105. So 103 and 105. And as you can see, they are like that high shine formula. They have a high shine formula like a lip lacquer, but they feel like a lip balm. It's so incredible, and they have such a thin and lightweight formula. I was actually blown away by that when I actually tried it on. So for today, I am going to use the shade 105. And I'm just going to apply that. So that's what the lipstick in 105 looks like. Feels so lightweight on the lips. You hardly feel like it's actually there, which is insane to me. Like, I'm not even lying. This is insane to me. I actually really want to pick up more shades of these because they are very, very pretty and they just feel so comfortable, but they have pigments and you can like decide what kind of pigmentation you want by just like swiping it on once, swiping it on twice, or just like lightly dapping it. Now I'm going to come in a little bit closer because we are going to finish up the eyes. So to finish off the eyes, like I said before, I have this double-ended or dual-ended under eye pen. This is like aerosol, like aerosol. I don't know, I'm so sorry. But on one side, it has a very creamy matte or velvety texture, and then on the other side you have like a top coat. So you have the matte version and then you have like the shimmery top coat, that little bit of like skin or fat that you can see before there is like a crease. And I do know that in Asian beauty makeup they tend to really like accentuate that, and it creates like this beautiful deer-like effect to the eyes. It makes them look very big as well. This is, by the way, in the shade Champagne Glow, which is a little bit warmer. Ooh, I loved how that just like opened up my eyes a little bit more. And this is like the creamy base. And then I'm gonna take the other side of the product, which is, like I said, that shimmery top coat. And then I'm gonna apply that on top. Oh, that is gorgeous. So other side. Oh, I love that. This lip is insane. It looks so good. I think that's the finished makeup. Oh, I love it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you really enjoyed this full face of Judydoll and just like playing with makeup and trying out different makeup styles from all over the world. If you want to see something similar to this, please let me know. If you are interested in any of these products, you can get my discount code. Oh my god, what the fuck? Hey Coop. 15% off on judydoll.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!